G'day guys, welcome back to SuperCoach with DR and welcome to the round 20 review. Hope you all had a cracker of a weekend. I'll tell you what, if you managed to tip 8 or 9 winners this week, safe to say you know absolutely nothing about football. What a weekend it was for upsets. My boys went down, bloody spewing. It seems like every time we've got a chance to grab that top 2 position, we screw things up. It just frustrates me beyond all belief. But I suppose, as I said, it was a round of upsets. Bounce back Lions. Go home hard. Come on. But look, SuperCoach wise, pretty good for me. It was actually my highest round score of the year at 26.65. Could have been a little bit better if I'd have stuck to my guns. If I'd have gone with my original VC captain combo, the combo that I mentioned on the sword play potty of Sicily VC, what was it? Either one, Sicily VC into Gorn captain, then I would have been laughing. But I did change my mind about that, which hurt me a little bit. But cannot complain with my best score of the year. So that was a top 2% round score. You can see Green Arrows again, so up 692 spots, almost inside the top 4K now, so 4,121. The goal is to get inside the top 5K, and I thought anything more than that's a bonus coming from 90 plus K after round 1. But look, who knows? Maybe I can climb inside the top 4, the top 3. I think anything after, above that will be an absolute stretch. Even getting inside the top 3 to 4, who knows? But I'm pretty happy with the comeback to date, and I'm hitting form at the right time of the year. I put a tweet out as well on Twitter, obviously, or what do they call it? X now, weird symbol. I thought, what's these notifications I'm getting? It was bloody Twitter. But I put up this tweet. I was against Spills this week in a cash league match, and I thought I'd done all the maths. If I beat him, he was cruising, sitting second or third, I think. I thought if I beat him, then I've managed to scrape my way into the finals here. As I said, hitting form at the right time of the year, but I must have stuffed up the percentage somehow, and I was bloody ninth I was, but got a double chance in a couple of the other cashies, so fingers crossed I can do well there. But bloody spewing on that one. Spills, I'm rooting for you, mate. I'm rooting for you. Make sure that you take that one home, brother. But look, what are we going to do here? We'll pretty much go through how the side's looking. I've got no injuries at the moment, no suspensions that I'm aware of. Fingers crossed again, nothing happens over the next couple of days. So pretty much that trade's just going to be left in the bank until I really need to deal with a long-term injury to one of my premium players. I've got some decent cover there at the moment. Got, that 23rd in Himmelberg. Then I've got Windtaker. Mariku's getting some game time at the moment. So things looking all right, but who knows? 1 week is a long time in SuperCoach. I could be absolutely crying after the conclusion of this round. But that's it for the intro, guys. As I said, hope that you well. Let's see how the team's actually looking. Alrighty, let's get into it now. Firstly, I quickly need to apologise. I just checked my mic settings. I reckon the intro may have been a little bit soft there, but I'm not going to go back and re-record it. So I do apologise for that. Hopefully the sound's a little bit better now. But look, if you look at the remaining salary and the trades left, it's been the same for the last few weeks. A couple of trades I'll talk about, which I really regret going through with now, but it is what it is. I felt like I had to at the time, but yeah, I am spewing on one in particular. But look, let's go through the side quickly. Dacos with an 82. A little bit disappointing if you had him as the VC this week, but we've all got him. He'll bounce back. And again, I'm pretty much on repeat with what I say here. His score doesn't affect anyone unless you've got him in your captain's loop. Pretty much that's how it is with Nicky D. Tommy Stewart, now I'm spewing with myself on this one, and I say it each and every week, don't I? Back your gut. Learn to back your gut. If you do go back to the sword play potty, I said that it was Sicily and Gorn in my combos this week, and wouldn't you know it, Tommy Stewart ends up as a VC. I just got sold. A lot of people talking about him. That role, in the midfield, floating down back, the best of both worlds. It just sold me in the end, down there at the category against Freo, and I tell you what, after the first quarter, wasn't DR giving himself a little bit of a pat on the back? I'm going shorty style there, talking myself in third person like the absolute legend does. But I was patting myself on the back. And then for the next 3 quarters, he basically scores 50 for the whole lot. So yeah, super frustrating. But again, it was my decision and I needed to really back my gut. And again, this is just silly, right? So I call myself, a veteran of the game, been playing for years and years, try to give some advice where I can, whatever. Before the game, right, and it was really obvious, Ross basically said in his own words, I'll be a team approach, but this guy's not going to get an easy game here. We're going to put some real pressure on James Sicily, Remember what he did last time? He really embarrassed the Saints, didn't he? But for some reason, I go to myself, no, do you know what? I don't care. I'm still going to go him anyway. I'm still going to go him anyway. Now, part of it was the fact that I knew Spills was going with him, and I thought if I can match the captain in the Cash League, I've probably got a better chance. I'm backing my other two uniques here to get the job done, Maxi Gorn being one of them. So that was part of it, but it was only one league out of 10, and I really, really did need to back my gut here and just go with Sicily and Gorn, but I didn't, and it wasn't even a matter of backing my gut. It was just stubbornness in the end. I was just tantalised by that previous score. I didn't own Sicily the last time we played St Kilda, and just thought, oh, surely not. Will Ross even bother about it? Will it last for a quarter maybe? Who knows? Sicily's too smart for that. But at the end of the day, though, getting to 102, thank you very much, because at one stage, this was looking like one of those 58s like he did for me a couple of weeks ago before that monster last week. So it's my fault at the end of the day. I knew it was coming. I was just too stubborn. I should have gone with Maxi. It is what it is. I really deserve that, to be honest. I'm the only one to blame here. Will Day, this bloke has been fantastic. So I don't know what his 5-round average is now, but that season average up to 97.2, it was looking like a bit of a disaster, wasn't it? You know, one of these real fake premiums. But this man has delivered in a big way for my side, particularly over the last 5 to 6 weeks. Did have one down game in there, but apart from that, he's been really solid and consistent. So shout out to you, Will Day, 533,000 and going up. Fantastic. The Shees, brilliant, 114. There was that real, I suppose, turning point in the season for lots of coaches. All the talk was, you got to trade out Will Day, Sheasel, and Jay-Z. And I ended up just trading out Jay-Z. That's been a terrific decision. I think the week after, I was really spewing because I think Jay-Z actually played a good game and scored well. But after that, he really hasn't done much. Being the sub, being a bit of a train wreck. So I really did make the right decision there, back to my gut. And a lot of it was also because of that DPP status, having Dewar and also Himmelberg there as well. It just made sense to keep on to him. So we're up with that, 114. Did play the Eagles, but hey, impressive performance. And was it a goal? I'm not too sure. I was wrapped for James on the weekend, so shout out to you, brother. Mad West Coast fan. Would have seen him on the channel, but at the same time, my heart did break for you, Causa. You would have seen Causa as well last week, a mad North Melbourne, closet Brisbane Lions fan. Sorry, mate, there can only be one winner. I would have been happy either way, but James, you didn't quite get it done in the cricket, mate. But the Eagles got you over the line this week, and happy birthday to your beautiful daughter as well, mate. Good on you, James. Great to have you on. Bad luck, Causa. The Seagull, thank you very much. Now, that clown that sent me that DM, I had a rant a couple of weeks on the Sword Play Potty now. Here you go, mate. The Seagull delivered. I sent him that message. I sent him that DM, and he sent back to, that's disgraceful, mate. I have let you down a little bit, but back me in. I'm going to give you a really good week this week. And the Seagull absolutely delivered, didn't he? Really, 127 points. Was really leading that scoring chart for most of the game for Sydney. So wrapped with him. Lucky I didn't have to field the next bloke, Harrison Himmelberg. Wow. After a great game last week, we thought, I thought, Harry, he could be back. Some 100 plus from here on out. This is what I wanted. But no, he reverted right back. Terrible clanger at the end of the game. Just a standard sort of Harry game. Yeah, a really frustrating one. Charlie Constable, I don't think he'll play, will he? Let's be honest. Let's all just resign to the fact that he's not going to come back. Hopefully I've given him the DR cursor and he does come back this week. I highly doubt it though. The Bonds, so this was actually his lowest score, I'm going to say, since the opening rounds of the season. And it's 101, so that just goes to show how consistent this great man's been for the whole season. So lots of people did have him as a backup captain, maybe if you went Dacos as your VC, so a little bit frustrating there, but look, I feel your pain. I beat you by a point with Sicily, but look, Bond is a terrific player. We know that he was going in under, when I say an injury cloud, not a major one, lots of players saw it this time of year, but he's definitely carrying something at the moment, Bont. So the fact that he got up, gave you a triple figure score, that's absolutely fantastic. So great season to date, just a terrific player. I hope he gets up the Brownlow. Nicky Dacos has got years and years to win one. Give it to the Bont. I love the Bont. Terrific player. Rory Laird, so look, there were question marks how he'd go here. Would he even play? Would he be a little bit sore? But the score suggested he wasn't. 129. I didn't actually get to see much of this game. I was flicking a little bit. Watch the last 10 minutes or so. The game was absolutely over by then. Brent, my man, was absolutely through the roof, let me tell you. And he's going to be in the Swordplay potty very soon as well. So make sure that you check him out. The biggest character you'll ever meet in SuperCoach, I guarantee you that. But well done to the Crows. Beat Port. Did the right thing by the Lions, but Lions just could not help ourselves. But well done, Rawza. Good to see you back in form, mate. The track, 141. Brilliant, brilliant, brilliant. So this has been the best score that he's given me so far. And every score has been really good as well. No monsters as of yet, but 141, absolutely fantastic. Thank you very, very much, mate. You know, when players like Libba went off, even in the ruck line, Tim English, Sinclair had a good game. Lots of highly owned players that I don't actually own had decent games, so I really needed, a decent score here. So thank you very much, mate. You delivered after Libba and Co delivered a couple of games beforehand. Thank you, mate. JD, 119. Yep, fantastic. All good. Look, anything 115 plus, I'm just going to take. So 119, absolutely fantastic. And I've obviously got that defensive mid swing there as well as that forward mid as well. So swing's looking okay at the moment, apart from that trade out that I really regret, which I'll get to very soon. Zeret, 139. Brilliant, mate. Fantastic again. I probably should have considered him more in my VC combo, but I thought maybe with Clark as a sub, he comes on, goes straight to merit. I was a little bit worried about that, but he really delivered. What a season he's had, this bloke. Absolutely phenomenal. Lockie Neal. Well, now you know that I love my man Took, but don't do it against Lockie, mate. Bloody pick on someone else, Tukey. Hats off to Took. What an absolute legend. Not about the old squirrel group there, the old sack tap on Zorks. I might talk about that on the Swordplay potty, actually. I don't know how I feel about it. As you know, I like Took more than I like Zorko, to be quite honest. But, I may have a little bit to say about that on the potty. But, look, Neil just got beaten at the end of the day. He didn't work as hard as Took. He looked disinterested at times, and that's probably a little bit unfair because he's the ultimate professional. I know this, Lockie Neal, but I'd go as far as saying that Took absolutely embarrassed him on the weekend. And I love Lockie Neal. I'm not trying to give him shit or anything like that, but he just got beaten, well beaten, and he'll be probably the first one to put his hand up to say that. A little bit of a concern moving forward is the fact that, particularly with now Ashcroft out of the game, this is going to be another talking point. I say that his stocks have now risen for the Rising Star after last week because we were a shambles against Gold Coast. No Ashcroft, no Brisbane, in my opinion. But give him the Rising Star. Come on. I'm going to clutch at straws. Anything to get this man over the line. But this may be an issue moving forward. Will opposition teams see what Gold Coast did in the weekend, and Took in particular, and say, well, look, maybe if we can really lock down Lockie Neal, that will go a long way to winning the game without that other dangerous player like Ashcroft in there. In saying that, I think it was poor coaching from the Lions. Why didn't we send Dunkley? And look, I understand that he's a very damaging midfielder, Dunkley, but his first mindset is always defence. He's a defensively minded midfielder. That's why we needed him at the Lions. We've got too many attacking and offensively minded midfielders, in my opinion, anyway. Chuck him on Noah Anderson. Get him out of the game. He was killing us on the inside, on the outside. Come on, Fags. You really needed to make a change there. Again, in my opinion, I'm not an AFL coach. I'm not trying to tell people how to do their job. But from an outsider looking in, as a Mad Lions fan, it just did not make sense to me. Outclassed, outcoached. We weren't tough enough. We did not deserve to win that game. Well done, Gold Coast. That's all we can say. Hats off to you, boys. Hats off to you, fellas. Jack Steele, hats off to this man as well. After I completely wrote him off a month or two ago, he's gone bang, 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 bang. And this is just a little bang, I suppose. But, hey, we were worried about 65s just not that long ago. Now we're hoping for 165s, which is fantastic. It's a great feeling owning this man all of a sudden. And apologies to you, mate. If you watched the Stocky last week, I gave you back your Superman cape. You were the man that I recommended from the Saners, and you did not disappoint. So congrats, mate. Great to see this man back and tackling strong as well. The Schlong here, 110. Yeah, fantastic. I'll take that. I think that's his best score he's delivered me. Maybe he's done one better, but he's actually been pretty disappointing. And even when you look at Andy B's score, who's a more highly owned player, he even outscored him this week. You just cannot get above Andy, it seems. But look, 110, that's okay. But he was churning out some of those 140s, had a really, really nice stretch, but he's just lost that consistency now. I don't know if it's got anything to do with that ankle, if that's just been lingering. I'm not too sure, but it has been disappointing for me. But yeah, I've got faith that he can bounce back anyway. Windy, bit of a quieter game from him. Must have had a quieter second half because I reckon he was on around 45 at half time. Maybe exaggerating. Maybe that was early on into the third. So obviously the quieter end to the game, but his ideal cover, if you want someone there, I suppose. Many other better players, but I don't think too many teams have the luxury of, say, a Himmelberg type as well as a Windy. You're going pretty well, I think, for cover if you do. Obviously, these two blokes. Now, Roberts has actually been playing pretty well in the resis, apparently, but with the way Sydney are going, it's going to be hard for him to get a crack, isn't it? So he may have to rely on injury to get a spot in the side, I think. Oh, this bloke here. It is so fun. It is such a joy owning Max Gawn without Brodie Grundy. I tell you what, this bloke is an absolute monster. Now, I keep on talking about this Cash League matchup with Spills, but I needed 38 points from Gawn and Bolton combined in the last quarter to get over the line. I was a little bit worried that maybe they'll slow up, but I tell you what, Gawn in the first 5 minutes pretty much iced that, to be honest. This last quarter was absolutely massive. Contested possessions, and it just got to a point, right, where it get a bounce, a ball up, and he just grabbed it out of the ruck and chucked on the boot. Kick it inside 50. It was absolutely ridiculous. He monstered Soldo in that last term. He dominated the game, and he won that game for Melbourne. Track played a really solid game as well. A couple of other great... Viney as well. Hats off to that man. He's a fantastic player. But really, at the end of the day, it was Max Gawn's dominance in the ruck that really got the D's over the line. Again, in my opinion, a fantastic own. He's gone in the last 3 weeks, a 215... a 120, I'm not too sure if it was right on the line there, and then a 174. So, what a man he is. What a man. He's a pod. And I tell you what, I was spewing originally when he didn't get DPP status. I am now thanking my lucky stars because he would be in a lot more teams than what he's currently in. In saying this, I don't have Tim English, which has been an absolute killer this season, and he'll probably be one of the first players I do select next year, Tim English. He's been an absolute killer, but Gawn now is more than making up for that. Fantastic. And Big Kizza, look, I thought he was underscored here. I really thought he was underscored. I think he only had 4, or was awarded 4 hit-outs to advantage. I'll tell you what, I don't know what a hit-out to advantage is these days. It must be so bloody tough to get, because I swear he had more than 4. I'd have to go back and look at the tape. I may be making this up. It may be owner's bias. Maybe I read the tweet wrong. I'll have to go back and check as well, but that really stood out to me. I'm pretty sure I read it right. Surely he had more than 4. I don't know, but just my opinion. A pretty good performance, I think, from Briggs. He's looking tired. You could see at stages he was really struggling. The big man was really struggling, but look, the Giants are on an absolute run, and I think he's been a massive part of that. I think he's been there for the whole run, hasn't he? I'm pretty sure he has, Kizza, so he obviously makes a big difference to the side. The young fella is slowing up. He is tiring. So to get to triple figures, yeah, hats off to you, mate. You've done a phenomenal job for me. Thank you very much, mate. And then we'll get to the forward line. Errol, Spilsy. Again, you reckon I'm spewing about not going Maxi as my captain. Spilsy actually originally said in the sword play, I'm going for a massive pod as my VC. He's either going to give me a 50 or a 150. These are his words on the sword play potty last week. Check it out. And it was Errol. It was big Errol, and he ended up going to Tommy Stewart like I did as well. So we both bloody switched, spewing on that. But he was on the ball, Spills. He was on the ball. This man had a phenomenal game. And a 152, he's just delivered. And Big H on the sword play potty last week. I keep on referring to this because it was such a big one, had so many legends on. He actually said that he was his best starting pick, and I can absolutely see why. He was on him before that big game, the preseason as well. And Spills at the time said rip as a pod. So, yeah, well done to Errol. Well done to you, H, as well. Pretty sure he got a big round score as well this week, legend. Connor Rosey, 104. Safe as houses type pick. You would have probably hoped for a bigger score, particularly in the showdown here. He really steps up in these types of games. But 104 at the end of the day, you are not complaining. I'm not complaining with the 120 here. But I'm complaining that I traded Darcy Cameron out of my side. It was that week where it was absolute carnage. I was originally looking at 2 donuts, and I didn't have the information I needed about Green until later on, about Marek actually playing. Remember, he wasn't even selected in the initial side or in the emergencies, I don't think, early on. So at the time, I sort of had to trade him to avoid what I thought would be 2 donuts. But damn, he gives me, a 100, a low 100, throws out some 60s. I get rid of the bloke, does it back, gets carted off in a bloody golf cart. And then he comes back and starts smashing it out. There goes my ruck cover. It really hurts because I could be still using him as a loop even with Big Kizza as well. So it really hurts me at the moment. But Bolton is an okay pod. Looking really dangerous at the start of the game. 2 behinds. I would just wish that he could kick straight. If he could kick straight for one game, we're going to see another one of these 150s. But I think to start the second, he kicked that one off the ground from the goal square. Really clever. I forget who tapped it back in, but that was super clever. Fantastic team play. Bolton got the rewards there. But look, fast forward to the end of the game, a 120. That's all good. That's all good because we're so worried with the Bolton type that he can throw out a 50 to 60. But I think with his current role, looking like a really dangerous forward as well as really running through that midfield, having Stinser as well. I think that's the ideal role for him because he can score well up forward as well when things are going well. And he's a type of bloke that can just get on a bit of a mad run. So I'm not too disappointed. He's a massive pod. Not too many in the 1% have him. But the scary thing is that lots of people still have DCAM. So backing Bolton against DCAM each week, I'd probably rather be on the other side, to be quite honest. That cover is ideal as well. Hopefully we don't have to use it anyway. Cogs of Blue on 22. Fantastic bounce back game from him. He's been a little bit up and down, and this is what we expect with Cogs. But if you look at the season average, it's 101.2. Probably what lots of people are expecting, I think, going into the season. So you've got what you expected, I think. If you had maybe 105 in mind, certainly realistic. I think anything above that, I just don't think was realistic. So I'm all happy with Cogs. Sweet at the end of the day. Butters a 134. Finally, we get a half decent. Well, I'll say more than a half decent. A really nice score from Zach Butters. Couple of 80s. His price had gone right down to the 520 mark. And if you had jumped on last week, like we recommended in that stock, actually, apologies for the stocky as well. I had it was LDU for North Melbourne, and it was Zach Butters for Port Adelaide that I had in the slides there, and I just completely forgot to do them. I was really running late with the stocky as well, so apologies for that. But I did recommend him last week because of the price. He's the sort of bloke that was always going to bounce back, and we know in the big games that he can deliver. So well done if you did jump on last week, and rewards for those people that have had him for the last month or two. Timmy Taranto. So he's been in a bit of a rough patch, old Timmy, hasn't he? I can forgive him. Look at that season average, 111. To put it in perspective, that's 10 over Cornelio. So I don't think many people would have been expecting that. If you did, well done. You've obviously had a better read than myself and many others. But look, again, similar to Dacos, everyone's got him. You just don't look to have him in your captain loop anymore, I don't think. It's just too dangerous. And he'll just sit there for everyone and score a 75, a 130, 100. It really won't matter. I literally don't know a team without him. If you don't own Tim Taranto, send us a screenshot on Twitter or leave a comment down below or something, because I just don't see a team without him. And then you got Marich there. Marich? I've been saying Marich. It might be Marich. Sound like a dickhead here, but 54. Yeah, hopefully I don't need to use him as cover. And then old Tyrell. Not doing much there. That is a team, guys. That is a team. So no real changes for the week. Probably the only discussion point. And tune into the potty as well. And make sure that you do check the third man up for your captaincy advice. But we will look at the matchups for this week. So, look, Bont, he's just so reliable, isn't he? Did he look sore last week? I'm not too sure. I didn't watch a heap of the game. But look, let's just chuck it on him for now, given the fact that he's looking here. Oh, crikey. Okay, you got Zeret against West Coast. O'Neill, is he going to go to him? Could you go really early? So Friday, Saturday, just Bont into Zeret really early on. Adelaide Gold Coast does to try to do a job on Laird like he did to Neil. Maybe. I think with these two options, I'm probably just going to avoid Dawson or Laird there. Sicily against Collingwood. Dacos against Hawthorn. Finn. Finn did a bodgy job, didn't he, on Sinclair? Or was that only for the first quarter? Maybe last week. I'm not too sure. Now, that probably worries me with Nakos there. Sicily, probably not as a captain option. I've got too many good VCs here, I think, to rely on him as a captain. Geelong, Stewart. I'm scared off him after last week with the 101. Ports, Butters, or Z. Nah, not at GMHBA. I just don't trust anyone. Really haven't got any Sydney that I can consider, do I? Oh, Errol. So, it's as a VC, I wouldn't mind him. As Spills gave you the logic last week. All right, Big Maxi. So he'll have the Goldie Cherry combo. Oh, I'm going to look at data on this. But seriously, like the last 3 weeks, we've got 3 weeks of data, right, without Grundy. The bloke's gone to 215, so that was against Big O. He's gone to 120. Who was that against? So the 120. So was that round 19? Melbourne. Oh, yeah, sorry, against Rob. And then... he was against pretty much nobody's air, wasn't he? So Nank wasn't in the side. I'll have a decent look at that combo. But look, if we've got data 215, 120, and buddy, what is it, 174, then surely you've got to consider him. He's a massive pod for me at this stage. So, yeah, why not for now? Now, let's just look. So you got Steele here. Who, look, you really can consider these days. Carlton's no good for me. And then you got your Freo Lions. Yeah, I don't have the heart to go Lockie. And the Schlong, probably not. So, at this stage, I reckon I may swap that. I'm just not keen on going early on to give my league opponent. And that's a big thing we're going to talk about in the potty this week, is we're going to give some league strategy and things to look out for. So here I am on a public video, and I'm trying to keep things from my league opponent. Yeah, make of that what you will. But yeah, I'll listen to George as well. And he reckons next year he may not actually reveal what his trades are going to be for the week. That'd be very interesting. So see how he goes there. But yeah, look, at this stage... I reckon it's going to be Zeret into Big Pod Gorn. I think. I'm going to look at the data here. Who they play? So it would have been West Coast, wouldn't it? I wonder what Big Bailey Williams. I'll have to check what Big Bailey scored. But at this stage, I reckon that's where I'm going. So, look, I won't talk about any potential trades because I'm just not going to do it this week unless injury strikes. And I may even do a separate video. But I will put out the stocky again. I've tried to mix things up recently. So last week it was look at one player from every side. I gave a recommendation, maybe either to look at them or maybe not look at them. But I think most of the recommendations worked out pretty well. There are a couple of duds there. So apologies for anyone that went the red dog. I don't reckon he turned out too well. And there was another absolute stinker there. I forget. Oh, it might have been Georgie Hewitt, who I recommended from Carlton. So, yeah, bit of a dud there. Bit of a dud pick. But remember I did say in the stock as well that all the planets aligned for him last week. It was basically the number one midfielder for Carlton after half time. You know, Chera was out. Cripple was out. Walsh was out. Rah, rah, rah. So, yeah, a little bit unfortunate there. But, yeah, if you've got any ideas for how you want me to do it, maybe mix it up. It could be more of a league focus type thing. I'm not too sure how I'm going to do it. Leave some suggestions down below because it is becoming more and more irrelevant as each day and each week passes in SuperCoach. So I'm after some ideas. Let me know what you want to see. And if you've got any players in particular that you do want me to cover, drop them down in the comments section below as well. So that's it for now, guys. I'll love you and I'll leave you. I'll see you tomorrow night for the Sword Play Potty. We'll do something for the stocky this week as well. And apart from that, hope you have a great rest of the week. I'll see you again soon. Cheers, legends. Bye.